You are now listening to Serious Minds RNTV with your host, Professor Griff. The call-in number is 516-654-7688. That's 516-654-7688. This is Professor Griff, and this is Serious Minds RNTV. Serious Minds for Serious Minds. Seriously.
Are you ready?
The Serious Minds Brain Tonic was created to sharpen the mind by protecting cells and increasing neurotransmitters associated with learning and memory. This is the Serious Minds Brain Tonic. The Resurrection Formula. This male reproductive tonic elixir is the resurrection you've been looking for. It is a stimulating sexual tonic with mild androgen-like effects that is nourishing to the reproductive system. You can order them at www.professorgriff.me and www.seriousmindsinstitute.com. Just call 678-557-2919. Your health is your wealth. Peace.
In today's climate, being safe is priority number one. With crime on the rise, we're all left with this magical question: how can I be safe and protect my family? Well, Professor Griff is offering a course that's similar to laser tag, but it's for adults. This safe and firearm-free course will train you in real-life scenarios so that you can avoid being a victim. This course is growing in popularity as a date night out. Add fun and excitement back into your love life, and the reviews are incredible. For more information, call this number below.
Check 1 2 1 2. Greetings, family. Greetings. This is Professor Griffin. Of course, you all already know this is Serious Minds RN. Let me get that flyer out of my face. This is Serious Minds RN TV. And of course, you all already know Wednesday night, we talk about survival. We talk about first aid. We talk about CPR. We talk about surviving in general in real time. We're talking about critical, we're talking about situational awareness. We're talking about conflict avoidance. We cover all those particular things on Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. With two very special people. I got my man Doc in the building and my man LP. Both of these gentlemen have been on the front lines for a minute, whether it's in the streets. Yeah, I said streets, not streets, but the streets, the military, whatever you want to call it. All right, we on deck. We about to discuss some very, very serious things. Shout out to the Serious Minds family as always. All right, Quan S, where you at? Shout out to Quan. Shout out to the Serious Minds family over here. Right here on Serious Minds RN TV on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, and of course, over here on IG. Shout out to the IG family over here. Listen, I've been trying to get y'all over here for a year over on YouTube because this is where it's taking place. If you want to get the full effect of what's happening, come on over here to YouTube. That's www.youtube.com/C/Serious Minds RN TV. Shout out to my man Guy back in the building. Okay, I see you breathing. You breathing, Guy? All right. Once again, condolences to you, your family, your wife. All right. It's some rough and trying times for everybody, and let's just pull from the center, family. Support one another. All right, in this serious time of need. All right. So shout out to the Serious Minds family. We got some serious information that we want to give you all today. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring on my guests. All right. Hold on for a second. All right, Quan, you have to be very diligent with this, with this chat, because we're about to dive into some serious kind of info here. And as always, of course, you're just going to find those individuals that want to come on and just kind of, interrupt things. But Quan, you good at this, man. Shout out to my guest. Peace. What's up, Doc? What's up, Mr. LP?
Hey, what's up?
Now, you see, I got this color situation happening back over here, LP. We got to get you that light, man. I think it's like $14.95. I got on Amazon, I think, man. Both of y'all, the light hitting on the top of your heads. I need to get that kind of haircut y'all got.
That's why you got that hat on, covering it up.
For the people that do not know who you gentlemen are, please give them a rundown, introduce yourselves, let them know who you are, and then I'll dive into what we're going to deal with tonight. Is that cool?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Whoever want to go first, make it happen.
All right. I guess I'm up, Larry. I'm Larry Pinson. I'm the CEO of Pinson Pending Consulting Solutions, LLC. Also, I am a paramedic firefighter, retired last year from St. Louis, Missouri, relocated to Charlotte, North Carolina. My business focused on consulting with entrepreneurs and also helping them either get their business licenses, LLCs, their social media platform set up. And we also are venturing now into more public safety issues as far as stop the bleed and mass casualty active shooter incidents trainings.
Okay. So my name is Dexter. Dexter Peckins. On social media, go by the nickname of Doc. On social media platforms, that is. little bit about myself. 25 years military. 23 of those years was spent in the Army as a combat medic, stop the bleed instructor, a TEC, tactical emergency casualty care instructor. Started my company, Still Standing LLC, in 2012. Basically focusing on training folks in our community to on some basic emergency medical skills, so they would be basically empowered to be instead of bystanders, you'd be able to be a by-doer. So anyway, that's who I am.
All right, give thanks. Really appreciate that from both of you gentlemen for what y'all do and what y'all continue to do. But hold on for a second. Yo, Guy, locate Guy. Are you still there? I got to tell this story real quick, fam. But while we waiting on Guy to give me the heads up, let me know if he's still there. We're going to be talking about a few things. One of the things we're going to be talking about tonight is it's a lady that kind of fell 30 feet from the interstate after being hit by a suspected, guy that was racing his car. That's in Atlanta. And then another situation, I want Larry to explain that real quick, briefly, but hold on. So, Guy, check this out, man. I'm at the range putting it in, right? A few of us out there. All right. I got this serious build. My man built for me. So I'm able to go with my Glock mags to an AR-15 9mm. It's chambered at 9mm, right? So I'm about to get it in. I'm bragging. I'm looking all tall. I'm looking sharp. I'm dressed in all black. Yada yada yada. Whoop, whoop. Go to run it. Click. I'm like, okay. I know how to work through malfunctions. I'm going, slap, bracket, roll it, blah 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 blah. I'm getting back in it. Click. I'm like, what the hell is happening? So now I'm on the spot. So I had to sling it around, take out my handgun, pop, 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 put them down, back and forth, and go to concealment and cover. I'm checking it. I'm like, man, I had to take out my cell phone. Yo, Guy, what's up, bro? It just stopped, Guy, altogether. But we'll talk about that in a minute, man. I'll hit you up tomorrow about that. It just, I don't know if it's the pin, the spring. I don't know.
Well, you know what? I got to teach you about this. You may know about it. We call it the dope mnemonic, DOPE.
And what is that?
So anytime that we have an issue where something is malfunctioning, we use the dope mnemonic. So D is dislodged, O is obstructed, P, and we're talking in medical terms. So P could be a pneumo, where like a patient has collapsed lung or something like that. And E is either equipment or user error. So
I think it was the last one, a little bit of user error.
Yep.
And the equipment. So yeah, because this build doesn't have a forward assist. I was just stuck.
So Griff, that's something you put together yourself?
No, my man Guy put it together.
Okay.
That's why I wanted Guy to hear that. Anyway, all right, we'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, so let's dive into this. All right, so the first story I want to talk about. Well, Larry, you want to get and explain this first one?
Are we talking about the stabbing incident or the young lady?
The stabbing incident.
Okay. Do you have the video? You want to cue that up?
I do, but my thing is, from what you sent to me, is very difficult to cue it up. Gotcha. So what I'm going to do while you're talking is I'm going to let you explain it while it's running, because with what you sent me and how it's done, because it's Instagram and I'm on my computer, it's hard for me to start it where it needs to start. So I'm going to share my screen, right?
Okay.
And can you see it?
Yeah.
It's going to start over, but you can explain it while it's playing.
Okay.
While I encourage everyone over here on Instagram to come on over so you can actually get the full effect of what we're talking about. But anyway, you can explain it. Go on.
The gentleman that's in the gray sweats, he's a patron of this store. This is a Food Lion supermarket in North Carolina. I don't know, because they didn't really get specific about what happened, but something there was some altercation between that gentleman and the Food Line employee that you see walking around is bleeding right now. They got into this altercation. The gentleman in the gray, the patron, pulled out a knife, and during the struggle, he stabbed the Food Line employee in the thigh area. It looks like his his left thigh. You can see it right now. He'll stab him like 2 or 3 times. They break up. The employee ends up falling over the counter, and I think he swung at him one more time with the knife, and he's just profusely bleeding. He has a large arterial bleed coming from that left thigh area, and you can see where his pants are even cut up, and you see that blood that's spurting out. That's how you know you have an arterial bleed. That's what we call a lethal bleed that needs to be addressed right away, because he's going to die in a couple of minutes if he doesn't get a tourniquet on that lethal bleed. And so this is where we're going to address, because all incidents that you may run across are not going to be shootings. You may be in a store like this and a fight breaks out, and next thing you know, you see a guy that's bleeding profusely from his leg, and that bleed needs to be controlled. So that's what we're going to deal with today. Doc?
Yeah, Doc, I'm gonna need you to get and do a deep dive, bro.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly what Larry said. That situation right there. That's why training like Stop the Bleed training and training like what we call basic bleeding control training. That's why that kind of training is important, because what's going on, like Larry mentioned, the guy, he got jabbed up a couple times in the thigh. It probably hit the femoral artery, one of the major blood vessels in the upper leg. He definitely has arterial bleeding, as identified by the spurts, not drops, but every time when he comes back out, like now, you'll see lines of blood spurting out of his left leg, the injured leg. And now that he's standing still, you see the pools of blood pooling underneath his feet, large amounts. And so, like Larry mentioned, those are signs of arterial bleeding. If something doesn't happen real soon, now he doesn't recognize that's what's going on, but probably adrenaline is pumping, heart beating fast, the guy's still hyped up, the excitement from that, the situation he just encountered. So he doesn't really know. He really walking dead. He's a dead man walking. If someone doesn't take action real soon to control that, the loss of blood. So yeah, that's definitely what's going on right here.
Okay, now what should the people around him? I see a few people, 2 other people around him. What should they be doing at this point?
Immediately, what they want to do is get him to either sit down and preferably probably lay down, sit on his butt and kind of lay back on his back. So supine position, laying flat on his back, and immediately put direct pressure on that bleed, because that bleed is going to keep spurting out until there's nothing else to spurt out. And he's just going to basically bleed out. So direct pressure with a hand, 2 hands. You also can take your knee and put your knee directly on that injury to stop the bleeding, and put all your weight on it. This is a situation where you want to put your knee on an injury, compared to something else that we know about that happened last year. But this is a situation where, yes, whatever pressure you can put on that injury to stop that bleeding directly, the better, until you can either get a tourniquet on that, get some type of compression dressing on it, or both, and until EMS comes and takes over and treats and transports that guy.
And so basically, this is what you're saying. What you just explained. This is what you're saying. The people that's in the video should have been doing.
Absolutely. Just walking around and kind of just looking. Everybody's in shock, because you're at a grocery store. I went to the grocery store the other day, and I'm just walking around and I'm just doing my thing or whatever. And if I had saw that, I'm a trained professional healthcare provider. It may have shocked me, because you don't know if the guy that stabbed him he ran out the store. You don't know if he's going to come back with a gun, with other people, with other weapons.
Mhm.
You don't know what's going on. And so I can see how people were kind of like, this is just a sense of disbelief, like what's going on here or whatever. However, somebody's going to have to do something or this guy is not going to make it. And I don't, as far as I know, he did make it, because I haven't seen any updates on the story, but you just run into these situations that can happen anywhere like this. And instead of just watching it and videotaping it with your cell phone or, pointing to, oh, look at that. Put some hands on this guy and help him.
Right.
Yeah.
As you can see when you're watching it, as the guy is punching on him, he gets the knife out and behind the guy's leg, he unfolds the knife. You can see it.
Yeah.
Right. And one thing too, when you just look at this video, we're probably just focusing on his leg, but actually the guy got also stabbed in his arm as well, in his upper. It looks like the upper part of his arm because you see blood dripping down his arm, and also you could just barely see. They cut off the top of the video, but he's reaching across his body, holding his looked like his right arm. Yeah. So he got jabbed up in the arm, which it could have hit the major artery. In this particular case, maybe like the brachial artery or the ulnar or a radial artery. Once again, major arteries in the arm. He definitely got hit in the leg. So you got the femoral artery. So just like Larry was saying, what has to happen is, have the guy sit down. Try to calm him down, to slow that heart rate down, because the faster that heart is beating, the quicker it's pushing that blood out of his body. So calm him down, get him down on the floor, get some pressure on both those injuries. Direct pressure, like Larry said, use your body, your hands, use your body. If you have to, drop a knee on that injury. Hopefully, that's a public space, a store. Not only should they have a medical kit or AED, but hopefully they also have what we call public bleeding control kits, where you have the tourniquets and stuff like that in it. But at a bare minimum, though, even if they don't have those items, get some direct pressure. A couple of those co-workers, somebody focusing on that arm, somebody putting pressure on that leg. And even if they got to just stay like that until the EMS shows up, that might be what needs to happen to save his life. I mean, the guy did survive. He arrived at the hospital in critical condition. I believe I've seen something on the internet, but then they stabilized him, so he did not die from that incident.
Right. Okay, cool. All right, these are some of the things that we're going to demonstrate. These two gentlemen are going to demonstrate it live on December 12th. So on December 12th, we're doing a live Zoom call like we're on here now, but we're going to take each individual, going to take their necessary time to go over different scenarios and talk about different things and just lay out a body of work that's very, very necessary. So family, I would encourage everyone to sign up. Just stay tuned. I'm gonna put the flyer up on the screen. I need everyone to sign up for the class that we're giving. It's online. You can kind of check it out in the comforts of your own home. All right. And of course, Doc will explain to you the class he has coming up this Saturday, right, Doc?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you're in or near the Atlanta area, this Saturday, 23rd October, from 11 to 3, I have a Stop the Bleed. And it's not the basic Stop the Bleed, and I just want to clarify that. It's not the 1 hour Stop the Bleed class they offer at the fire department or local EMA and stuff like that. My class is a whole lot more in depth than that. But anyway, it's 11 to 3, Stoddard's Indoor Range, located over there by Midtown. For those of you in the Atlanta area, I'm sure you're familiar with that indoor shooting range. 11 to 3, going to have some real good life-saving training going on. If you want to sign up, because I still have spaces available, go to my website. It's posted, www.stillstandingllc.com. Under services, you'll find the class. You'll be able to hit the link to pay and register for the class at the same time.
All right, cool. Hold on for a second. Give me the website one more time. www.what?
www.stillstandingllc. That's spelled STEELSTANDINGLLC.com. Once you get that, that'll take you to my homepage, and then you go to the heading that says services, and that'll take you to the page that shows the classes that we offer. Yes.
All right. I just put it in there for everyone to go check out. All right. That's stillstandingllc.com. This Saturday, 11 to 3. What's the name of the class?
Stop the Bleed.
Stop the Bleed.
Yes.
Stop the Bleed. All right. Who I can't watch that too many times. I just get jittery, bro. For real.
I want to add something about that too, because one of the things that we've covered in the past few shows when we're talking about what equipment can you grab in the store, one of the things that we discussed, I think it was in the first show, is that you're in a grocery store, you're in a supermarket. If you don't see anything readily available, because they were at the checkout line area in the front entrance, you can always go to where the pharmacy is. The pharmacy is where they stock all the first aid stuff. So you'll find plenty of bandages, Band-Aids, just a plethora of stuff in the pharmacy area if you need first aid supplies. If they don't have an IFAC, which is an individual first aid kit, or some boo-boo box that might be behind the counters.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that dude in the gray, I don't know what took place, man, but I think he spent some time in prison. No, I'm dead serious. I've seen that before. For real. Anyway, in the meantime, between time, woo. All right. Up next. Wow. Yeah.
And let me add one more thing about that controlling the bleeding. You want to put enough pressure on those injuries that you don't feel a pulse anymore. Because if you still feel a pulse, let's say you don't have a tourniquet available and you didn't come up with some MacGyver improvised tourniquet that we've discussed in prior shows. You want to put enough pressure on those knife wounds to stop the bleeding and to also stop the pulse rate. So if you can still feel a pulse in that leg or in that arm where that wound is, then you're not putting enough pressure on there, and he's still going to be bleeding out. So when you apply a tourniquet, also that's one of the first things you want to check is, do I still feel a pulse in that extremity? Because if you still feel a pulse, that tourniquet is not applied properly, and it might as well not even be on.
Okay, cool. Woo! All right.
I always want to reassess.
Right. All right, let's check this next one out. Woman who fell 30 feet from the interstate after being hit by a suspected racer speaks with Channel 2. And when we talked about this earlier, I think Doc thought she passed away. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get some. Hold on. Don't know where that volume is. Hold on. Volume. All right. I think I just hit the volume.
Yeah, she was waiting with a broken down car on I-85 when a speeding car hit her. She has several broken bones now, but she says she is lucky she landed in the grass. Channel 2's Tom Jones talked to her today, and Tom is live where she fell. Tom, she told you that she's thankful.
Yeah, Linda, when you look at it, you just got to believe that angels were with Leslie Reese as she dropped all the way to the ground, landing right here. She says so much went right to help keep her alive.
I definitely almost lost my life.
27-year-old Leslie Reese is still counting her blessings after a suspected street racer caused a crash that sent her flying over I-85 down some 30 feet below. Amazingly, she's not angry.
You can't even be angry when God brought you back.
It was Monday afternoon around 4 when Reese's car broke down on I-85 southbound near Piedmont. Her best friend, Savannah Priestley, was down below on Plasters Avenue looking for her. Reese got out of her car, looked down, and told Priestley she was up top.
And then I looked up, I said, okay, I do see you. I just got to get up there. And as soon as I said that, she got hit.
Police say suspected street racer Horace Dillard Jr. caused a car to hit her. Reese flew off the bridge onto the grass some 30 feet below, right in front of the Hero Unit headquarters. Workers quickly came to her aid.
I'm blessed to honestly have been in the right place at the right time.
Reese suffered serious injuries, bones broken all over her body. She remembers being thrown into the air.
Like after that, I blacked out.
Reese has to learn to walk properly again. She says this shows the dangers of street racing.
And for me to be a literal bystander and to almost lose my life, it's crazy within itself.
Yeah, it's crazy. Dillard is being held on a $195,000 bond on charges that include reckless driving and serious injury by vehicle. Reese says it's going to take a while for her to recover. Go to our website and click.
All right, gentlemen. Wow. All right, so she's looking for her friend. She broke down. Her friend is looking for her, rather, and can't find her, so she kind of is communicating with her friend off the bridge. She kind of looks up. This dude is drag racing, hits her car. Her car's moving towards her and knocks her off the highway. She falls 30 feet. Now here we are with a woman laying out in front of the Hero building with broken bones. Now, what do you do if you're driving by, you see this, or you're her friend who was already down there waiting for her?
She's very lucky, first of all, that she survived. She fell on the grassy area instead of the sidewalk, the pavement. So that probably kept her alive. Also, the area where she fell, there were other people. There was some building that was underneath that overpass, and those individuals came out and they helped her also. If I'm one of those bystanders, especially in my EMS mindset, I'm just, I'm not on duty. I'm just walking down the street and I see that happen. I'm going to try to keep her as still as possible. If I see any external bleeds, any lethal bleeds, I'm going to address them as best as I can. Just like the gentleman that was stabbed in the Food Line store, I'm going to put direct pressure on him. Try to get something. If I don't have an IFAC with me or nearby or first aid kit, I'm going to put some type of dressing on it and pressure to keep that bleed under control. In a situation like this, where she just had internal injuries primarily, because I was looking at the X-ray that they showed, she had a femur fracture close to her hip joint. And what people don't realize is that your femurs, because you got two of them, one in each leg, they can hold up to 2 liters of blood. And if you have a major femur fracture like that, like you can bleed out just as bad as if you had an external bleed like that gentleman that was in the Food Line store. So it was really important for her to get to the ER. What she needed at that point, because you're not going to put a tourniquet on that because you can't see the bleed and it's not sticking out of the body. What she needs is bright lights from the EMS and cold steel. She needs to be in the ER ASAP. And so there's not a whole lot you can do for somebody that has internal injuries other than keep them very still and awake, because with a fall like that, my main concern is going to be C-spine or cervical spine injuries, because I'm going to be more concerned about her being paralyzed. I don't want to really move her at all. I don't want to do a whole lot of readjusting and all that stuff or whatever, because she already has a bunch of fractures. And so my main focus is keep her as still as possible. I'm going to take my hands, put it on the side of her head, and I'm going to keep that. Her head is basically going to be my baby from that point on until EMS comes, because I don't have a C-collar. If I don't want to do a whole lot of anything but keeping her very still and calm and alert until EMS shows up.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much agree with everything Larry just said. From beginning to end, to tell you the truth. She was fortunate. That grassy surface versus a concrete. She landed in front of the Hero building, and Hero is the folks who be out there on the interstate highways providing help when people are breaking down, in car accidents and stuff. So I'm sure they had people that's trained that can provide care. The bystander coming by, like Larry mentioned, you definitely don't want to move her for no reason. Because with all those broken bones internally that you don't see, you start moving the person around. You got bone ends that are moving around, cutting arteries, cutting veins, cutting nerves. Plus, what's going on possibly with C-spine or head injury, where just moving that person could result in them being paralyzed for the rest of their life.
Wow.
So your priority, once again, as always, is if you got any serious life-threatening bleeding, try to control that bleeding, get some pressure on those injuries where you got life-threatening bleeding coming out, and also making sure that she has an airway, that she is breathing. But priority one is the bleeding. Second priority is the airway. And like Larry said, keep her still. Try to keep that head immobilized just in case she started moving around or something like that and end up causing herself to be paralyzed. But yeah, you don't want to be moving that person at all or trying to splint this or do that. Just keep them calm, keep them alert, keep them reassured until EMS shows up.
Okay. Yes. A few things that worked in her favor. The grassy knoll, right there in front of that building. Those gentlemen can get EMS and call 911. I'm not sure if her friend helped her or what her friend did or what her friend knew what to do. This is why we have programs like this, so we can educate the people on what we could have did if we was in those situations. And to take that further, we are doing an actual Zoom meeting class on these particular things. Of course, Doc and Larry are going to go into it, their perspective fields, which I'm going to have them explain in a minute. But I'm going to be talking about just basic situational awareness, conflict avoidance, safety, training, and that kind of thing, and being responsible with your firearm. Not only a firearm, just weapons in general, and just being awake and aware. So, Doc, go into what you're gonna teach, and Larry, go into what you're going to teach, so that people will know, because we want people to sign up for the class. It's happening December 12th at 7 p.m. So y'all explain what y'all going to go over.
Okay. So I'm going to be covering Stop the Bleed, which is basically what I'm going to be doing this Saturday, but I'm going to be doing, of course, it ain't going to be no 4-hour class. But anyway, covering some of the basic things that, anybody can be taught to do to control life-threatening bleeding. I'm also going to be talking about the importance of medication, and this is the importance of medication aligns itself with preparedness. This is, we talk about being prepared for different emergencies. Just want to talk real briefly during that training about the importance of having on-hand medication, especially if you are on some type of prescription meds. We talk about being prepared. It could be a power outage. We're going into the winter months. It could be a winter storm where the highways are jammed up, stores are closed, you done ran out of insulin, and you're not able to get it. What you can do ahead of time to have stuff on hand to prepare for those types of events. We'll talk about the IFAC, Individual First Aid Kit. Basically, this kit, the contents I'm going to discuss is the type of equipment you should have in the kit that will be used to treat life-threatening bleeding. So this ain't your typical first aid kit. This kit right here, as far as that discussion, will focus around treating life-threatening bleeding injuries. And then the last thing we'll talk about is tactical emergency casualty care. Basically, that class itself is kind of like, we'll say like it's a enhanced Stop the Bleed. You cover a lot of the information that's taught in the Stop the Bleed, but also this particular class is kind of geared towards folks who may be in a profession in which they might find themselves in a more high threat environment, like say security guys, law enforcement, close protection specialists, executive protection, where you might actually find yourself, just your job is going to require you to be in more hostile environment. So there's going to be things you need to know outside of the typical Stop the Bleed that's going to have you make sure that you're prepared to do what you need to do should you or your client or principal get hurt. So, Larry.
My portion will be focusing on first responders, first aid, CPR, and proper gear and mindset. So as far as the first responder, we want to be educating the class about the different levels of first responders. So you have first responders, just from your bystanders, like the people that were in the store or the people that were on the scene where the lady fell. We call those your first call responders. And then your licensed and certified first responders, your EMTs, because there's multiple levels of EMTs. You start off as an EMT basic. You can take some advanced classes and become an EMT intermediate, where you can do some more advanced skills like starting IVs, pushing some additional medications, all the way up to the level that I'm licensed at, which is the EMT paramedic. And I always tell people, all paramedics are EMTs, but not all EMTs are paramedics. And we'll get into why that's important and what the difference is, because depending on what your licensure level is, will depend on what skill set you're able to practice out in the field. Because EMTs can't do just EMTs basics. They can't start IVs. They can't do some advanced procedures that we'll get into in that training. Talking about first aid, so we'll go over some more first aid steps, some more first aid idea, kind of not just a little background on it, but just showing you how to perform first aid, because you can have an IFAC, whether it's something that you buy from either Doc's website, or if you bought it at a food line, or you bought it off the internet. But if you don't know how to use this equipment, it doesn't matter. Whether you spend $5 on a first aid kit or a few $100s on an IFAC, you got to know what you're doing. And it doesn't take a paramedic to be able to know how to use, some of this equipment that's in these first aid kits. We also talk about CPR, and we're not going to be training you as far as certifying people to do CPR, because this is just going to be an online Zoom training. But we're going to show you the proper rate, depth, and compressions on how to do them effectively, because when you're doing CPR, you want to focus on perfusing the heart and the brain. Otherwise, if you don't do them correctly, you may get that person back, which we call ROSC, and we'll talk about that. But if they're going to be brain dead because you didn't do them deep enough, fast enough, that person is going to be a vegetable. So we'll talk about those things. And the proper gear and the mindset. So we'll get into stuff that you can use in the field. When I say in the field, I mean like wherever you are. It could be a store, it could be a mall, it could be, a nightclub or what have you. And the mindset, it's all about staying calm. First thing I learned when I was training to be an EMT was whenever you get a call, first thing you want to do is check your own pulse, because if you're all jittery and all over the place, you're not going to be an effective responder to that scene. Just like what we saw in the first video where the store employees and the other patrons were kind of just walking around, not really doing anything, because your adrenaline is pumping and you're just kind of just focusing not on the problem per se and what you need to do. So those are just a few of the things that we're going to be talking about in this first 48 seconds training.
All right, so this after the first 48 seconds, all right, my man Doc, and of course, my man LP, and of course myself, Professor Griff, December 12th at 7 p.m., the Zoom meeting class that we're going to have. It's only 45 bones, a few Captain Crunch coupons, some food stamps, whatever you got laying around the house. Make it happen, though. You can hit us. You can hit me up 678-557-2919, or go right to PayPal right now as we speak. That's PayPal.me/Professor Griff Corp. Pay for it. We'll give you a confirmation. We give you a digital seat, and let's make it happen on December 12th. Doc, I'm going to be there, like I said, on Saturday. for a minute to come be with you. All right, to support you. And then I made contact with a few people that we got a serious plan for Charlotte. So we're gonna be up there with Larry in a minute.
Yes, sir.
All right. So right now I'm gonna open up the floor for some questions. If anyone has any questions for these two gentlemen or myself. So let me address something that I think it was Mr. West, whatever his name was. Early on at the beginning of the show, I saw it, but I wanted to move the show along. Mr. West must know how to clean and service your weapon. What does this mean when little kids do this? Thank you, Mr. West, but yeah, I know how to clean and service my weapon. It was a new build, and I think I shot it a few times. I'm not sure. But let me say you something, Mr. West, and everyone else out there. This is why you train.
This is why you train.
This is when you go to the range. You work out the kinks so it happens there and not in the street.
That's right. That's right. Yes, indeed.
Griff, how long have you been an NRA and USCCA instructor?
Not long. I think I've been more underground since I was a teenager than anything. Keep in mind, NRA wasn't coming to the hood. USCCA is new. You understand what I'm saying? I carried a firearm since I was about 14, 15 years old. You understand what I'm saying? So the S1Ws were instructed. I learned my stuff from some revolutionary circles we won't get into right now. But above ground, as I say, getting the necessary patches and the awards and the certificates to hang on the wall and all that good stuff. It hasn't really been long, to be honest with you. I think I surround myself with individuals like Guy, Brandon, Stone Harrington, Jay Belcher, and all of the guys that I know that I train with. And of course, I've sat in the audience a few times with Tig teaching her thing. I know people that know people. Of course, Tangi and some few other people. Some people, Alabama, Tennessee, family. You understand what I'm saying? So iron truly sharpens iron. I do have to admit I had to do a lot of unlearning in order to learn, so to speak. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
I'm thankful for those times in the street in New York and in other places that I've lived. You understand what I'm saying? That I've survived them in order to be on this side of it, to get the necessary training now to train other people.
I wanted to add something when we were talking about the young lady that was thrown over or that fell over the overpass. When we were talking about keeping people still in those situations. And I just kind of want to go just a little bit into another reason why that's important. And Doc, you did mention this when you talked about the bones, the internal bones that are damaged, possibly causing other injuries. That's a huge thing that people have to keep in mind. When you think about the structure of bones, bones are very, sharp when they're broken, especially human bones. When those bones are broken, they splinter off. And when you have bones that are grinding against each other, the medical term we call is called crepitus. And so you can even hear those bones rubbing up against each other when you're moving those extremities around, depending on the severity of the break. We're not talking if it's just like a hairline fracture. We're talking a clean through break. And so with those splintered ends, again, as Doc said, you can puncture vessels, arteries, veins. You can puncture other tissues like the muscles and the subcutaneous fat and the skin, the dermal portions of it. You also have to wonder and worry about how that person is going to react to that movement, because you got a broken bone, and if they're conscious, they're going to be yelling and screaming. So
most definitely.
If you were to move my leg in that situation, I might hit you. So we don't want to have another patient if we can avoid it.
That's right.
Try to avoid moving them because you might get punched or hit or worse.
No, you're absolutely right. You know, I'm sure there's probably been situations where, you know, someone has sustained some type of injury, I will say like to a leg or something, in which the femur has been fractured. It's closed fracture. They don't see the bone ends protruding through the skin. And then they just start moving that person around. And next thing you know, the person, bleeds to death, because, you can't see what's going on inside that body, with those fractures. So, the best thing, just leave them where they lay. Leave them where they lay. Like Larry said earlier, keep that head immobilized so they're not moving their head, which might cause spinal injury, paralysis, and hope that EMS is on the way quick. Yeah, because there ain't gonna be a whole lot you're gonna be able to do with that.
Well, let me ask you guys something. So, do you think these things are happening more so than a little bit nowadays?
I don't think so. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Larry. Go ahead, brother.
I'm sorry. I would say yes. And the reason I say yes is multifaceted because I think with the climate and, we don't really talk about politics and all that stuff, on this, doing these Survive in Real Time shows. I will say that the climate that we're in, people are just more angry. They're more depressed. I would say there's more mental health issues going on now, and mental health is being recognized as its own crisis. I won't say the P word, but its own crisis. And one thing that I mentioned on, I think our first show is that, in my opinion, mental health is the world's oldest continuous crisis. I think with the advent of technology, we're able to see these mental health issues also, whether it's surveillance camera in the stores, whether it's cell phone footage, whether it's dash cams in the cars, just whatever, there's cameras everywhere. So somebody's always either got a camera out shooting footage or we're seeing it somewhere else. What do you say, Doc?
There's definitely a lot of stress and anxiety and, a lot of things going on, and which I think we live in a more violent world for sure. And people are quicker to act out, as far as do whatever they feel they need to do or things they shouldn't be doing. But with that said, I don't know if it's more violent. We got more violence taking place or just more stuff being recorded and being seen, with the cameras and people standing around, taking them videos and posting them and stuff. So it's kind of hard for me to say. Maybe it is, but I definitely know that a lot more stuff is being recorded and reported. Yes.
Right. Yeah. So there was an incident today. I was driving, and in Atlanta, I have a tendency. I don't know about you, Doc, being here. I always just drive in the right hand lane, the slow lane, because these people, man, they crazy. I'm in the slow lane. This young girl had to be 20, 21. I mean, she was flying. I saw her in my rear view. She was like moving. She came up behind me. I'm in the slow lane. She came up behind me, flashing her lights and blowing her horn. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do, ma'am. Yeah. She actually came around me. The passenger rolled down the window. Now, my thing, I already got my shirt up. You know it's serious. I put my shirt up, and I'm like, all right, if it's going to happen, let's make it happen. You understand? Passenger, her body was halfway out of the car. yelling and screaming at me.
Right.
Kept a steady pace, whatever. They kept swerving over, slowing down. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it's dangerous out there on them highways and byways. And just like you say, Griff, I mean, man, it what's scary about that, people get, just say if you was reacting to that person flashing their lights and all that other stuff, you trying to figure out what they getting ready to do. So maybe you decided to move lane to let their butt shoot on past, and as soon as you moved into the other lane, they moved into the other lane and hit you. So you're trying to second guess what they're gonna do. The best thing is keep doing what you was doing. They can do whatever, give you the finger, whatever, talk stuff to you, but it ain't worth the what could happen if you react emotionally to that kind of stuff.
Right. A lot of people would look at it like that person put my life in danger. So the stretch of road I was on, I couldn't get off to really avoid them. So I just said to myself, I'm just going, you understand what I'm saying? And hope for the best for them.
Right.
But anyway, we're just about run out of time. Once again, give the people your information. Doc, I want you to go last because I want you to reiterate the times for your class and what you're teaching. So Larry, you go first. Let people know how to contact you, how to support you. Give them your Cash App, whatever. All right? Give me information.
Yes, I can be reached at www.pinsonpending.com. That's P as in Paul, E-N, T as in Tom, O-N, pending, P as in Paul, E-N-D as in David, I-N-G.com. My Cash App is $Pinson Pending, C as in Charlie, S as in Sam, LLC. You can email me at consultingsolutions@pinsonpending.com. If you go to our website, pinsonpending.com, all our social media and contact information is on that site.
Okay, so once again, you're going to be teaching. I'm going to be teaching a class this Saturday in Atlanta from 11 to 3 at Stoddard's Indoor Range over there by Midtown. If you want to sign up to come to the class, go to my website, www.stillstandingllc.com. If you want to kind of get an idea about some of the training, you can follow me on Instagram at still.standing, STEEL.standing, STANDING. I always post videos and pictures of the classes. We just did a class this past weekend up in Philly. We had some good folks up in there. They got some good training. So come on out and get some training this Saturday if you ain't doing nothing.
All right, cool. He said, if they ain't doing nothing, come on through. All right. I really appreciate you, brothers. And we have to stay the course and constantly give our people the information, whether some people on here want to hear it or not. Some people will hear this and benefit from it. All right. Love you, brothers to life, and I respect you. So let's just make it happen, man. Firearms training in North Carolina, interested in a collab. Okay. All right. Well, get in touch with me. 678-557-2919. We headed towards North Carolina in a minute. All right. As soon as 22. If they don't have anything else for us on that pandemic side, we're going to be a few places. All right.
Oh, yeah. 2022 is going to be wonderful for all three of us.
Right. Let's make it happen. All right. Love you, brothers to life. All right. Thank y'all very much, man.
All right. Now.
Give thanks. Peace. All right, it's Professor Griff. So we're about to check out of here, and thanks to my man LP, thanks to Doc for making this Wednesday happen yet again. Some very valuable information. Make sure you'll make it out to Doc's class at Starters this Saturday, I believe, at 11 o'clock. Stop the bleed. All right, this is Professor Griff. My class is actually the next day, Sunday, at the Georgia Firing Line. If you want to sign up, please go to my website, www.professorgriff.me, or just call me, 678-557-2919. All right, family, this is Professor Griff. I'm signing out. Peace. Peace.
Welcome to Tricknology, where we focus in on safety, training, education, and legal protection. This is Professor Griff, NRA, USCCA certified instructor. Classes are being held twice a month. Contact me at 678-557-2919. That's 678-557-2919. Thank you, and welcome to Tricknology, safety, training, education, and legal protection.